You're listening to Mouthbuzz, where the noise never shuts up, and neither do we. Thanks for joining us on the Mouthbuzz show, and we're here today broadcasting from Redcliffe Botanical Gardens. A little more on that later. What's the buzz today?
Well, the buzz today, a plethora of topics.
Plethora?
Plethora.
Rikeys.
I know. Here we go. Who invited the dead possum? School meetings at their finest.
Interesting.
Bees are starving, so we made them a pill. 30 years, one supplier and a whole new world. The global guide to doing nothing, legally.
Excellent. I like that.
Gold, shiny rock or financial lifeboat.
I'm very fond of gold. I'm looking forward to that one.
That's up your alley. Modern life, same presents, fancier chains.
Wonder what that's about.
Breaking news, nobody missed Monday.
Didn't somebody write a song about that? I don't like Monday. I don't
Tell me why.
That's it. Let's not sing, it's too early.
No, and it's a bit depressing. And that tap to pay, it's tapping more than you think.
Sounds like a money one.
Yes, You're going right up your alley. Look, sounds like your kind of show today.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're broadcasting today from Redcliffe Botanical Gardens, and we're going to take you for a walk around the gardens. It's just beautiful. And I have to say, if you're somebody who has a business, perhaps under some stresses from working and handling all of the GST and taxes and employment and superannuation, all the stuff you have to handle these days, or if you've got kids, or if you've got a husband, or if you're alive, or if you're breathing, then do take yourself to a big green space every now and then, because it is so peaceful to be in a botanical gardens, to be in a forest. The thing I've noticed with this is that trees don't judge you, and you can just wander around in this environment. If you go to a shopping centre, have you noticed people look at you?
Some.
Like I'm looking at you now?
No.
You're too short, you're too fat, your clothes are too great, they're too poor, you walk funny, whatever it is, you're in a constant state of judgment. And when we get up in the morning and look in the mirror, we never judge ourselves, do we?
Well, I don't look in the mirror. I just bypass that whole thing.
But it's very nurturing and recharging of the batteries to be in a botanical garden.
I have a favourite place in the botanical garden, a favourite activity.
What's your activity?
I love going through all the herbs and touching them and smelling them and guessing what they are.
Yeah, I like running my hands through the rosemary and then just holding it up and smelling it. It's just wonderful. So we hope you enjoy it, and we'll get on with the show.
Okay, so shall we talk about staff meetings? I had a cracker.
Tell me about your staff meeting.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. So we arrive at the meeting place and everyone comes in, we sit down, and after after about 30 seconds, we're looking at each other and everyone's nose is going,
sniff.
Crunch, the sniff, and we all like, and then someone said, did someone step in something? And I'm looking around, everyone's checking their shoes, and I'm going, nah, that's not any kind of poo smell. This is totally different smell. And then we sniff a bit more, and the smell is intensifying. It's becoming stronger and stronger as we sit there.
Goodness.
And the room's filling up with people. And we've got 100 staff.
Right.
Right. And everyone's got this weird look on their face. And then finally someone says it. I know that smell. And I'm thinking, I know this smell too.
Right.
And the words pop out. Dead possum.
Oh my goodness.
Dead possum in the roof.
Oh my goodness.
But it gets better.
Okay. Tell me more.
So somebody says, could we please move? Can we just go to a different venue? These rooms are free. We could go there. Oh no. Administrative staff having a brain fart, I call it. oh, let's just turn the fans on and it'll blow the smell away. Well, guess what?
Brilliant.
It didn't.
No, it just mushed it around.
It just, spread it out a bit further. So we were there for an hour in this room.
With a dead possum.
Yeah. And we were given this activity and we were given a little squishy. Luckily we got those because that was a chemical overload. I opened my packet and there's a little squishy toy because we were talking about differentiation, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It smelled of nail polish remover. And you know how much I like chemicals, don't you?
You love that, don't you?
Yeah, well, not at all.
Not at all.
I had that thing under my nose using it like smelling salts.
Oh, God.
So luckily I had to go to a different meeting halfway through. Rescued by teaching senior certificate courses, and off we went, and there were about 6 of us and we were so happy.
Oh, my God.
Everybody else stayed in dead possum smell.
That is terrible because you know the reason that you could smell that is because there's particles in the air
Well, yes.
that you're breathing into your lungs.
Yes.
You're breathing dead possum cells
Yes.
into your lungs,
Yes.
into your body.
And we were told to stay there.
Workplace health and safety.
Absolutely.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Could you imagine that in the headlines of a newspaper? Anyway, that was a highlight and a half, not.
The funny thing about that is that if all of you teachers had got up and stood up together and walked out,
I know.
you guys would have been in control.
We're stupid.
But you sat there and put up with that
We
shit.
are stupid. We're behaving just like peasants.
Yeah,
By being told what to do by the overlord.
that's it. And
I know.
not actually taking your power, which is you as a collective group,
I know.
and saying, this is not working for us, get us another room, we're out of here.
I feel like I want to start a revolution right now.
Yeah,
Give me my pitchfork.
that is something, it's one of those funny things that could go to court, right? The High Court of Australia or something, and
Yes.
be debated and whatever. And it would then the legislation would have a name, dead possum legislation.
Yes, a new law.
A new law.
New law made. And if not enacted on, you will be fined.
Too funny.
But it's almost like common sense. There wasn't any, including me. There wasn't any with me saying, just standing up and saying, hello, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't do it either. So
I know, and we tend not to.
Yes.
I do get that.
1 out of 100. Who's with me?
Yeah. Raise the flag. Let's go. Follow the flag. We're meeting in this other block over here. Let's go.
Take charge. Should have taken charge, but I didn't. Instead, I smelled nail polish remover and got myself a headache after that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I read an interesting thing recently, a week or so ago. In Washington, D.C., in the United States, the people that have beehives are finding that their bees can't get enough pollen.
Wow. So they're starving.
Essentially, yeah. And so,
Not enough plants.
well, what they've decided to do as a solution to this great problem is to create a vitamin tablet for bees. Now, it's in the form of a sheet that can hang down there in the beehive,
Right.
and then the bees presumably eat it or deal with it in some way, and that will provide them with sufficient nutrition or whatever it is that bees require to continue to live well.
I've got so many questions.
I know. It's such a bizarre thing, isn't it?
I have so many questions. The questions are, if they get fed in their hive, do they then stop flying? Mm-hmm. And they're just going to get this. And then if this will evolve into something, will their wings drop off? And they're going to be fat little blobs? And is this just for us to get honey? And will they become obese? Will the honey...
Just hold on.
Oh, I told you, 10,000 questions.
Did you say, would they become obese or obese? Just clarifying.
Well, maybe new name. Obese. The obese.
Yeah.
And quality of the honey, Yeah, and the mind boggles. The whole ecosystem collapsing. No, yep. Anyway,
The thing that got me, we talked about this some shows ago. This is the allopathic solution,
yes,
where there's a diagnosis made, right? The bees are deficient in some way, can't get enough pollen. Let's provide a solution, or the solution is we'll give them this pill. But the problem is the bees can't get enough pollen because there's not enough flowers.
yeah, not enough plant life.
Why is there not enough flowers? Because we've knocked them all down. Why would you not just go and plant and increase the foliage and stop clearing forests and areas where bees go and get their pollen from? It's degradation of environment.
I remember years ago, many, many years ago, over 20 years ago, I went back on a trip to Germany, and in Berlin they had all these parks closed off. Big signs, do not go in here. We're letting all the flowers and the grasses grow to a natural state and flower in order to increase the amount of insects back into the city.
Back into the cities.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of things that have happened in cities. Like they've put beehives on the roofs of high-rise buildings, well, not high-rise, but taller buildings. And the bees have gone out through the city and collected their pollens there because there's plants for them to actually do that from.
Yes.
I mean, crikeys.
No, they need parklands. The bees need to be near parklands.
Yeah. And I'll just make a point locally here. In Brisbane, in Queensland, where the Olympic Games are coming in 2032, they've decided to build the stadium, one of the big stadiums, on a place called Victoria Park.
The biggest park.
Now, Victoria's Park is one of the biggest, if not the biggest park in Brisbane.
I think it is.
It's a big open space with trees and grass and walking and all sorts of stuff there.
Beautiful parkland.
Parkland.
For everybody.
But no. Let's not preserve the lungs of Brisbane. Let's build a stadium and cover up another whole square miles or kilometres of land and destroy the bees and the environment further. It's ridiculous.
That's another topic, isn't it?
That is another topic.
The impacts of Olympic Games on cities.
Yeah, I feel my blood rising.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a thing this early in the morning.
I think so. Totally away from the bees. So we had a bit of a loss.
We
Changing
did.
topics. We had a loss.
We did have a loss, didn't we, this last few weeks?
Yeah, it was. I was talking as though a best friend died.
Yeah. We have been buying our nutrition and home cleaning products, soap, from a company originally called New Ways, and they changed their name to Modere. And I've been buying stuff from them for probably 40 years. I think they've been, in total, they've been in business something like 50 years. Started off as a multi-level network marketing company. Their products are superb, or were superb. And we got this news that they were just closing shop after all this time.
Yep.
And it was like, wow, where are we going to get our stuff from?
I know. Where's my best friend gone?
Yes.
What just happened?
Because we like chemical-free and we like a variety of things that they do, non-toxic and what have you. And so it was like I realised that we have become so comfortable with this company and this particular supplier that we just expect them to be there forever.
Yeah.
But also, more importantly, is in the 30, 40 years we've been getting stuff from them and just being on autopilot, ordering and doing all of that stuff, which we've been very happy with, we have not been looking at any other possibilities.
No.
We've just turned that switch off. And there's a whole other range of science and products and incredible things that have been created in the meantime.
Yeah, and now we have to do more research. We're looking at another one-stop shop, which we haven't tried yet. Mm-hmm. We can talk about that once we've tried it. We can talk about that another time. But I've also, in the meantime, did a bit of research and wasted a bit of money.
Right.
I bought $100 worth of cleaning products. Thought, they sound great. They're environmentally friendly. But guess what? Environmentally friendly, but not person-friendly.
Yes.
So, sure, everything is packaged in paper.
Biodegradable.
Yeah, no plastic whatsoever. And the package arrived and I opened it up, it almost fell over.
Why
The
was that?
chemical smell blew me away, like a dead possum, instead of in scent form.
Well, at least a dead possum's natural.
Yes. So I packed it all up and I talked to a few students at school and said, who'd like some cleaning products? Who uses scents? And there's one kid who said, I've heard about that company. I said, great, you can have the whole kit and caboodle. He was very happy, took his packet. Too much.
Well, I think the broad awareness here is when you go into comfort and comfortable with something, with anything, to a large extent, you eliminate your awareness of other possibilities.
Yes.
And it is from uncomfortable that we create. When you're uncomfortable about something, then you're out researching, searching, choosing, trying, doing a lot of other things. And then we cycle then into comfortable with that. Right?
When we find something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we could function from uncomfortable, we would be on the creative edge all the time.
Right.
That was kind of what I got from our losing our long-term happy situation there.
Yes.
Create from uncomfortable.
And yet there's some things I'm okay with being comfortable about.
Yeah,
I don't have to function from the creative edge all the time.
all the time.
Something a bit comfortable about the familiar is good to have some of those in my life, I believe,
Excellent.
as well.
It all is included.
Well, talking about comfortable, I want to talk about public holidays. And
I just mentioned
yes.
as a sole trader, a self-employed person,
yes.
I'm not sure I get public holidays.
Oh, right. Oh, well, you could take them if you wanted to.
I could do.
Well, you can really do anything you like and you can schedule your life within reason any way you like.
I could set my own public holidays, couldn't I?
But us plebs who are chained to a job, there are not all public holidays in the world are the same. Did you know that?
What?
I know, right? So we're a bit hard done by because this is what I found out. I'm going to give you a quiz. So depending on the state and workplace in Australia, how many public holidays do we get as a maximum? Give me a number.
I don't know. 10.
It's actually a bit higher. It's 13.
13 days.
But not in every state and not for every workplace. It varies a little bit. Because if you work at Woolworths, you probably get less public holidays.
13 doesn't seem a lot in a year.
Well, guess what?
What?
We're one of the lowest.
What?
I know. So we might have to move. Now, the next country...
Sorry to interrupt
Yes.
you. I could just imagine we move somewhere and and we're talking with the locals. And why did you move here? Oh,
We love your public holidays.
Public holidays.
Absolutely. Well, we might move.
give me the lowdown.
I
Why-
will. Well, the other country in the world that people often mix up with our Australia is, of course, Austria. Austria, again, 18 days for public holidays.
18. Wow.
Argentina, 19.
19.
Malaysia, 24. Now, this is maximum, but these next three countries, everyone gets these days. Doesn't matter who you work for, how you work, or what state you're in.
Give me our new home. Come on.
Fiji is 23. Iran and Myanmar, 26.
Maybe we won't go there.
Which one? Iran and Myanmar?
Probably either of them.
But 26. Okay, the highest. Everybody gets it. What do you think the number is? Because I won't get you to guess the country. You'll never guess it.
I'm going to go 34.
Did you cheat and have a look at?
No.
It is 35.
Goodness gracious.
The country name starts with N.
New Zealand?
No, Nepal.
Nepal.
Nepal, 35. But I want to talk about public holidays because I love public holidays. Do you know why?
Tell me why.
Because I get an extra day. I don't have to go to work. And I love my work most days, but I really like public holidays. I like a shorter week.
Ah, so this is where we're going.
Yes, I love a shorter week. So where are we going?
We're going into the 4-day working week.
Yes.
What do you know about that?
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, the first thing I know is that I want it. I want a 4-day working week. It's not even that I want a 4-day working week. I would like 4 days in the classroom with kids and then 1 day without students to do all the planning and preparation for the 4 days. So I'm still happy to work 5 days, but just differently because the breaks aren't enough for me as a teacher anymore. It's pretty full on performing all day long as a teacher. But anyway, off to the 4-day working week. So Swinburne University did a study about a 4-day working week, and 10 companies participated. I know nothing about the companies, but the outcomes were all positive. There was a 70% of the participants found that there was increased production with people only working 4 days a week. And the other 30%, it stayed the same, the production. So there was no decrease in production. And guess what? 37% less sick days were taken.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
That's nearly 40% less sick days.
Yes. So 4 companies decided that that's it, the 4-day week permanently. And the rest of the companies extended the trial by 6 more months.
Wow. I wonder where the whole concept of a 5-day working week, 9 to 5, came from.
I know.
I mean, there must have been some origin to that.
I have no idea.
Because, like, a long time ago, work was largely agrarian, I think it was farming.
Yes.
And so that's a whole different timing of work. And so I wonder if it was sort of like after World War II, when a lot of things changed, if that kind of model of working came in, or if it was a result of some change in manufacturing, like the Industrial Revolution, for example. Whether that...
I do know that when the Industrial Revolution came in, work hours went up exponentially. People at that time worked more than we work now, and us working now, we work more than peasants did in medieval times.
One interesting thing has been since COVID, when a lot of people had to stay home, particularly in Australia, particularly in Victoria, lockdown, and a lot of people worked from home. And that experience has stayed on because people liked working from home.
Yes.
I wonder if there's been an increase in productivity in those kind of circumstances, because there's certainly been a resistance to going back to the office in the city. I would suggest there is.
Well, there's a lot to be said to work differently. You can schedule toilet breaks. You can actually eat when you want to eat. You can have a drink, a cup of tea.
You can start at 5 in the morning or 10 in the morning and work till 10 at night if you structure your timing as to suit you and the way that you are.
You can access services that you need to access.
You can look after the kids.
Yes, all of that.
Or a sick husband or a sick wife while you're still able to do some work. You can respond.
In a much more relaxed manner.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the peasants.
The peasants.
Medieval time. So they're also called the Dark Ages, right? And
is that because electricity wasn't invented yet?
Maybe, because apparently they weren't as dark as what we're made to believe. So maybe they had more candles.
The sun did rise and the sun did set.
It did indeed. Yeah. But maybe it's because work started at dawn and finished at dusk.
Yeah.
And then that brings a picture of, oh God, my goodness, start work when I get up and finish work when I go to bed. I have to be working all day. Not so. I'm going to dispel that myth right now.
Do it.
So... On average, modern man works 200 hours more per year than the peasants.
We work more.
We work way more.
Wow.
That's right. And they had a slower life. Have you noticed how the tempo and speed of things happening in my everyday have sped up enormously? And it's like, and I thought, why is that? Well, attention spans are shorter, so I have to go from one task to the next and swap my lesson plans. I have to put in a lot more things into my lessons to keep the minds
Of the students.
of the students
engaged.
engaged and giving me their attention. It's like almost like a walking advertisement. Ad 2 coming up, activity 3, let's go over here, let's do this.
Right.
I feel like I'm constantly performing. And then we have, these are the breaks we're allowed. We're allowed legally a 10-minute morning tea break and a 30-minute lunch break uninterrupted. That's it.
Right.
So you're going non-stop. On paper, we have that break. In reality, most days we don't even get that break.
So we're working more hours.
Yes. We have less breaks.
We have less breaks, and it's more intense.
And more intense, and we get less holidays. I'm going to tell you a bit about the holidays for peasants. So, first of all, the breaks. So peasants had long days, hard work. They worked hard, physically hard, right?
Sure.
But they had breaks for breakfast, lunch, an afternoon nap, mid-morning and afternoon refreshment breaks.
Oh, wow.
And after big harvests, they had 8 weeks off.
8 weeks?
8 weeks.
Goodness
That's right.
gracious.
And then they would also get days off or weeks or a few days for the following: weddings, wakes, religious celebrations, birth, and wait for it, entertainment. When the travelling circus came, or travelling jugglers, anything like that, or sporting events, they would get days off for that as well.
Unbelievable.
I would like days off for all of that. Any weddings I can go to, let me know. Any births happening, I'll be there. So what do you think?
Well,
would you rather be a peasant and work hard and get lots of time off, or do the slog that we're doing now?
Well, it is interesting, isn't it? I mean, you could take that a little bit further. In days of old, the Dark Ages, there was the castle with its lord or king or whoever it was that ran the deal, and the peasants would be out in the fields surrounding the castle, and the deal was that the castle would provide the army, and if there was going to be an attack, the peasants could run
Everyone goes in,
goes into the castle and be protected. And then for that protection, which kind of seems a bit like the mafia sometimes, for that protection, the peasants gave the castle a large percentage of their harvest.
That's right.
Right? And that was kind of how the symbiotic relationship between the two. And it seems today we've got the political class, and we go to work and do these long hours that you're describing, and then we pay tax to the politicians to apparently run the country, but also to fund the defence organisations and defence systems. So there's not a lot of difference between that and what was happening in the early days.
Correct.
It's pretty much the same, isn't it?
So the feudal system is explained within a pyramid, and up the top you had the king, and alongside the king was the pope, and then you had the lords and the nobles, and then the knights, and then the peasants. So I've actually done a task at school, and I put a pyramid up, and I asked students to put in today's system into that pyramid and who they put where. Very interesting what classes of society that they put in and come up with. It's a really cool task to do.
Yeah.
And it is comparable.
The basis of it, the foundation, doesn't seem to have changed very much.
No, we just seem to have more layers.
Yes, more disguised.
Yes.
Well, fellow peasant, cheers.
Cheers.
To a happy life.
Keep slogging away.
Keep slogging away.
And look forward to that next public holiday. Oh, goodness. I feel like we should have a glass of mead right now to sip on.
You know, I get asked often enough for it to be noticeable, is gold going to continue going up in value?
Is it?
And we might come to that in a minute.
Okay. Tell me, should I buy some?
And you and I started buying gold probably back in the early 2000s. And I think the price then was about maybe $800 an ounce.
Whoa, $800?
$800 an ounce. And I continue buying gold, ounces of gold, gold coins through the years, and now it's because gold is on a global scale is valued in American dollars.
Yeah.
So I think it's been up to maybe just up to about 3,500, and
What, US or Australia?
US, and then it's dropped. I think it's just dropped down 100 or so. But for us in Australia, that means because our dollar is worth approximately, what are we on, about 65 cents to every one American dollar. So round figures, you could add another 30% on, say, to the American price to get to the Australian price. So gold in Australia is probably $4,000 an ounce now.
Wow.
And silver too. You and I both bought some silver. And I think the last silver I bought was about $18 an ounce. And it's now around about $30 US an ounce. So there's been this increase in gold over years that has benefited both of us. So the question is gold going to continue to rise? And I think in order to answer that, you've got to have a look at why gold is considered to be a store of value and it's being purchased at the moment.
Why?
Well, what's been happening, what's really spurred this on more recently, is that central banks have been buying gold by the ton. Now, central banks are organisations like the Federal Reserve Bank of America, the Reserve Bank of Australia, that work with, it's an independent organisation, they set interest rates and other things, work with employment. And so they have been buying gold as a store of value in huge quantities.
Wow.
And so that has been part of it. So why would they do that?
They know what's coming? Don't know.
There's a range of reasons. I think too much to go into right now, but we could look at that as another topic. But that's been a big contributor to the rise in the value of gold. But also, gold has always been known as a store of value, and particularly when there's a lot of disruption in the world. And if you look at the wars we've got going on, we've got President Trump now in power, putting tariffs on countries for importing and exporting products. There's a lot of uncertainty. We've got Gaza, we've got Ukraine. Somebody else has just started doing some war. I think Mozambique is having some war. There's a lot of disruption going on in the world. And what happens is that the paper dollar that we use as our currency begins to be less valuable for various reasons, and people start to buy gold, and silver should come on. So I would say that the value of gold will continue to rise, and I will be buying some more.
Okay.
What about you? What do you think about gold?
Well, I've read some of the things as well about some financial advice, and I've heard the number $10,000.
It's a possibility. I mean, look, crikeys, in Ukraine, what happens when the war started is the government defaulted on all their debt, because governments accumulate debt, so they basically said, we're not paying out on that. Currency can freeze, bank accounts can get frozen, and all of the money that's in the country, there's things called capital controls, where they legislate and they can bring on powers, emergency powers, to stop money moving out of the country. They can do lots of things with money because they need the money for the war effort. It costs a lot of money to run a war. So gold, if you've got some gold buried in your backyard or stuffed under your pillow, it's much harder for the government to get hold of it.
I just had this picture of Mr. Albanese coming in and trying to grab your pillow from underneath your head while you're sleeping. For goodness sake.
So there's lots of reasons to buy gold and other things that aren't money. It's an interesting world at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe we'll talk about gold a little bit more. It's a bigger subject than just will the price go up. There's a lot of factors influencing it. But yeah, I like gold.
Yeah, me too.
My pillow's a little lumpy at the moment, though.
Oh, that's why you got the dents on your head.
That's why I have dents in my head, yes.
I like gold jewellery too.
Well, that's nice too.
That's another story, isn't it?
That is another story.
That's it. That was our plethora of topics.
All right, well, that's all I've got for this week.
Okay.
Are we done?
We're done.
All right. Well, I'll be seeing you next week.
Okay.
Same place?
Probably not.
Probably not. Same time?
Most likely.
Approximately.
Approximately.
All right. Well, thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.